So I started my entrepreneurial journey in 2002. In 2000, I joined, after my engineering school, I joined Satyam Computers at Hyderabad uh, as a software engineer in the telecom department. And I had a colleague by the name of Abhilash, and the two of us eventually spent some time together at a client site in Jaipur, and eventually thought that why don't we create some applications of our own and go ahead and sell. And that's how we started the journey of 6D in July of 2002. And it was very, very interesting. We had practically no money. Uh, Somebody told us that if you want money, you should get yourself credit cards. And it is best to get credit cards and personal loans while you are in Satyam and not once you are out of it. And so both of us, we could maybe manage a couple of lakhs of rupees, including from personal loans and credit cards. And that's how we got started. We pretty much exhausted this money very quickly. We got our first deal in January of 2003, and we got a check of 14 lakh rupees. And that was a wow moment for us, only to realize, and we were so naive that while we had a company registered, we had not opened a bank account. And we thought that, when we walk into a bank with this 14 lakh rupee check, they will encash it quickly and they'll open a bank account for us and maybe roll out the red carpet. It took us close to 3 months to encash that check, go through the entire process of company resolutions and putting all the paperwork in place. But we went through lots of ups and downs, and we hired people. We had absolutely no sense of budget. We had no sense of how much to hire, what to offer to people. And of course, we were not taking any salary from the company. Rather, both of us used to have the company's debit card in our pockets, and we would directly spend from the company's bank account. Not that we were misusing money. We were very careful with the money, but there was so much of ownership that we didn't want the money to be spent at all. And we just forced ourselves that we will just take so much as it is required to maybe eat and maintain ourselves. It was towards the end of 2003 that I got connected with a chartered accountant who said that what we were doing was absolutely blasphemy, and we should get ourselves an accountant, establish a finance team. And so that's how the journey started. In 2005 was an interesting year. For about 6 months, we had absolutely no salaries to give. We defaulted on paying our taxes. We had a notice saying that if you guys don't pay your taxes on time, we will come and arrest you and you will land up in jail. And we still said, okay, what's the option? We couldn't do much. Fortunately, 2005 was also a turning point where we were able to raise venture capital in the previous company, get our first international deal. Some other anecdotes are that I got married in 2004 for, I guess, a couple of years, for some time before my marriage, and for 2 years after marriage, it was my wife who was supporting me. Absolutely, from day-to-day expenses, pocket money, money for fuel, everything was being funded by her. We couldn't afford, at that point in time, to go on a honeymoon, so I had a friend working along, and he sponsored one day at Ramoji Film City in Hyderabad. There was one more very emotional event. We had our first child in 2006, my son, and I had absolutely no money to pay hospital bills, and my co-founder Abhilash then took personal loan, passed on the money to me to pay the hospital bills. So our story, and that was valid for each one of us, was a survival story for every day, absolutely every day. We had to figure out, how do we survive today, how do we try and get a new deal, and how do we get to the next day. sometime towards the end of 2006, most of the venture capitalists whom we were interacting with and was trying to raise money from was saying no. And they said that we were more of the same. There was nothing different. So there was a lot of pressure for us to think different, to think of new products, new ideas, new ways of delivering the product, new business model. And we came across some mobile commerce projects. We came across, there was a very interesting event which was unfolding in front of us, which was that Vodafone was acquiring Hutch in India. And that gave insights to the extent of value creation one can do if one owns the end consumer. And that's what eventually led us to think about the idea of Eko. And eventually, in early 2007, I exited my previous startup to start Eko. We started Eko in September of 2007, and that's how the Eko journey began. It was absolutely a fabulous experience for the first time to experience liquidity, because when I sold my shares, I got plenty of money, and that feeling was very empowering. It was very humbling, and not only did we go to a lavish place to compensate for the honeymoon which we missed, but we did splurge a lot. We gave back in significant amounts, and that was truly a very, very empowering emotion and feeling for me and for my family.